Just say what you mean what you say.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for Larisha Speaks. Here I am once again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm new at this. I'm just working hard. Please forgive me with the lighting. But today I have an interesting story. I wanted to get this story to you guys for a minute, and I'm finally getting it here. I have a young lady by the name of Constance Washington who wanted to do everything she wanted to do to provide for her 10 children. She's a single mother of 10 children. She worked for the court system for 26 years, and she bought some land. And her purchasing her land wasn't the end all be all. She wanted to provide a better option for her family. So in the midst of all that, the courts helped construction companies steal her land. So I'm going to introduce her. I'm going to bring her out.
Good evening, everybody. Once again, thanks, Larisha, for having me. My name is Constance Washington, and I'm here to tell the world how Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City stole my land with the help of Chowan County Superior Court. As Larisha said, I'm a single mother of 10.
Well, let's talk first how we met. We met, I saw on TikTok. I was going on TikTok, and I'm going through what I'm going through. So I said, oh, wow. And I put her in touch with some people, and I said, we got to bring attention to this matter.
Absolutely. I say we sister in crisis. Crisis.
Yes. And before I could even do what I needed to do, because I was going through my own thing, she just took off, had 14,000 followers on TikTok, and I was out here getting interviews on a radio station, and I'm so proud of you. And I say congratulations to everything that you're going through with that.
It's called fighting the struggle. That's what it's called, fighting the struggle.
I be wanting to give up, and I be frustrated, and I see it, and I'll go to TikTok, and it'll be a video from you. I'm like, no, I can't give up, because Washington out here doing her thing. So I just want to say I appreciate you for that.
Thank you, and I appreciate you, Larisha, because you don't even understand that the encouragement that you gave me what kept me going. For example, you said something to me that stuck with me, and it's still with me. You said no matter what it looked like, you said the win is in the fight, and you told me if you give up, that's to lose. And I always and I say that to myself, because as just like what you said, I feel the same way. Larisha, I have a lot going on in my life. I have 10 children, so that alone is a big struggle for me. I'm working. I'm a single mother, and I'm working, and we have to work triple, double time as a woman of color. I have to always run an extra lap, run an extra mile, carry an extra bag, and doing all of this with him. Yeah, exactly. It's not easy, as what you said, and we go through the everyday struggles of life. And I just want to say one thing. A lot of people say women of color is loud. Yes, women of color is ghetto. Women of color is angry. Angry, we're labeled that. We are the most unprotected, unheard, species, humans on the face of the earth. So with all of that being said, fighting the judicial system is a whole nother battle. But
again, a whole nother battle in itself. But we have to be. If we wasn't loud, if we wasn't out here telling our story and telling people what happened to us, they would, you know what I mean, hurt us and then tell us we enjoyed it because we didn't say anything. So I'm going to be loud, and I'm going to be proud, and I appreciate you for that. I commend you for your fight. I love you for your fight. And again, when I be wanting to go and give up, I look at you and you doing another good morning. It's Tuesday morning. Let's say a prayer. I'm like, all right, let me go ahead. I know I got to fight. So I do appreciate you. But now you can tell the people what happened. I did tell them that you worked for the court for 26 years and you wanted to retire.
Yes.
So you wanted to retire. What were some of the things you did?
Okay, well, first of all, I saved up for over 8 years, and which was very, very difficult, with the children. And when I mean saved up, I mean that consists of, we stopped celebrating holidays. We stopped celebrating birthdays. We stopped going out. No vacations, no nothing, because I set the kids down and I told them, my goal, my end goal for retiring, I wanted to get my kids I live in Brooklyn, New York. I live right smack dab in the ghetto. I live in East New York, Brooklyn in the house. Don't get me wrong. I love Brooklyn. Born, raised, bred Brooklyn. However, on the same token, it's getting hard. It's very, very expensive to live, in Brooklyn, New York. Additional to that, I wanted to. I need space, and as you know, in Brooklyn, we stacked on top of each other. You know, right, we stacked on top of each other. That's why everybody's so damn angry. You know what I'm saying? That's why everybody running around shooting, robbing, killing. And not for nothing. And, we survive. And my goal was, you said you can't buy land in New York, Brooklyn, New York. So I did some research, and I wanted to buy a piece of land. I wanted to buy my own land because I have a lot of children, and I wanted my children to always have a roof over their head. I didn't want them to. It's a lot of them. Nobody can house 10 kids. So I saved for 8 years, and I don't celebrate the holidays. But when the kids are young, they don't understand. How could you explain to them about no Easters and no Thanksgiving? But I did, and I stuck to my guns. And it was sometimes, Dorisha, I didn't even eat lunch. I took peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and egg sandwiches and tuna fish sandwiches to lunch every day because eating in Manhattan is so expensive. I could easily spend over $100 just eating lunch. So I took lunch and I made these sacrifices, and I saved up a good. At the end of 8 years, I was like, oh wow, I can start searching the internet to look for me a piece of land. And it wasn't a lot of money, but it was a lot of money to me. It was just my sacrifice. My sacrifice. So I started searching the web. I didn't really know exactly. I didn't have a area exactly where I was going in North Carolina. However, I didn't want it to be by water because I said if I'm gonna be in the South, I want to be by some water. So I did find a coastal area, and it was in Edenton, North Carolina, and right behind me is water. So, and there was a piece of land that they were selling for $45,000, and a little over an acre, and that was good for me because I did some research. Because you do have to research, just let everybody know, make sure the land is perked. Basically, you can build on the land because I learned some of the property in North Carolina. You can do farming, but you can't build.
Okay.
So I
So
bought
you
a
did
piece of
your research.
right. You got to do your research. So I found a piece of land that was perked that I can build on, and I was looking for a home big enough for my children, which I was looking for something was gonna be over 2,000 square feet. So I found the land. I bought I contacted the real estate agent. She said it was available. I flew to North Carolina. She showed me the property. I was very happy. I was excited, overwhelmed. I did something. I reached that goal because it's difficult sometimes to reach goals because you keep, like, I'll go one step up, two step backs, and I'm just gonna give you a
Because
prime
life
example.
is life.
My life, we're lifing. For example, during the course of me saving up for the 8 years, my mom's had passed. And when she passed, she didn't have insurance. So I had to go in the money and back, because I'm burying my mom's. So I had to, so like tribes and tribulations throughout life. And I'm backing up and I'm going forward and I'm backing up, and then one of my daughters had a baby, and it just was a lot going on. But God brought me through. I got the land, I bought the land, I had my title, I had my deed, I was happy. So and those areas, you have a choice to get a stick home built, a modular built, or in my particular area, there was no trellis. They said no trellis, which is fine. Some areas you can get like a double wide or a triple wide trailer. I went the modular way. There was two companies in my area, Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City or Clayton Homes. Those was the two areas that service my
Which
area.
okay.
Right. So I went with Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City because they was 30 minutes away from the property. Additional to that, I Googled Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City. I Googled it, and I didn't see a whole bunch of, at that time, I didn't know that that company was owned by a man called Jeff Jones. I knew he owned it, but I didn't know he had 8 sites. I thought he just owned Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City. And guys, it's very important. Always do your research and Google these people. Do
So
do
you
your
said he
research.
had 8 different companies?
Right. No, he got 8
Oh,
different sites all over North Carolina.
oh,
Like, for
got 8
example,
different.
he got Right, he got down these homes are beautiful there. Down these homes are Greenwich. Down these homes, like a bit, different areas, but I didn't know. So I only Googled down these homes of Elizabeth City. I didn't see anything. I just saw like one complaint, but everything else was okay. I'm trying to move fast because I'm trying to get down to the story. It's a long story. I've been battling this since 2021. So I might get some stuff, a little, mixed up, but it's basically I'm gonna hit the important points. I went into contract with this company called Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City to build my family a 4-bedroom home with upstairs. And let me explain that to y'all. Um, I didn't get the upstairs built, which was consist of 4 more bedrooms and 2 more bathrooms because I couldn't afford it. They wanted an extra $90,000 to do the upstairs. So what I did, being a hustler, I had family that could. I got family members that know how to put up some. I could put up some walls. You know what I'm saying? So I said, you know what? I'm not giving them 90 extra thousand. Look, we go to Home Depot get us some extra. You understand what I'm saying? Hey. I tell you what, just give me the 4-bedroom house
And give me the foundation.
and right, and still do the upstairs, run future electricity, future plumbing upstairs, and then we'll do that. Bet, sign the contract. That's what I went
Signed
with.
the contract. They agreed to do 4 bedrooms downstairs, a
Yes.
kitchen, and you paid the money.
2 bathrooms. No, I put a down payment.
You put a down payment on it. Okay.
So this is very important, guys. So I put a down payment. However, I had to get approved for a mortgage because the house was $289,000. So I did apply for a mortgage by a bank called Intercoastal Bank. They approved me for $189,000 because I had $90,000 cash money.
I know
So
that's
right, because I told you, girl, I was hard every day.
oh,
I'm hustling. Every
you
day
said
I'm
cash
hustling.
money. Brooklyn.
you know, today I can talk about it. I've been going through this since 2021, and I was outside of myself at one point where I was just defeated. So today I'm strong with the way. I got the strength of Goliath today because my strength come from anger. My strength come from retaliation. And my strength come from I have to fight.
I
I
know that.
I have to fight for my children. But at that point, back to the story, I had 2 children that was in college, and I had a daughter that was in the army. So I had 2 years to play with. So I was like, okay, me and the young kids will just go. And as the older kids start coming home, I have those rooms built for them. We'll work it out. And not only that, we know how to make it
Right.
work. And then
We
in
know.
addition to that, my daughter that was in the army, they wasn't all gonna live with me. They was coming to. I wanted to make sure I had space for them because I have 10 children. However, the plan was we was all relocating to North Carolina. They was going to start branching out. My daughter that was in the army, she was saving her money. She was going to buy a piece of land out there, and we needed to be out there to make it work. Okay, so going forward, they being that I live in Brooklyn, New York, they gave me an app called Built. This app called Built, it came about especially during COVID, where you can actually go in the app. It's supposed to be showing me pictures of the progress of the home. I could do the e-signatures. When e-signature is the $189,000 was in an escrow account. So whenever the builders needed any money for materials or anything, they supposed to go into the app called Built, and I'll sign. They'll take out 20,000, 30,000, whatever, and that's how I was getting my house built. So after we made the agreement, shuck on it, signed my contract. Basically, they told me that the home should be built within 8 or 9 months because down there they built 80% of the house in the factory. That's how they do it because they are modular homes. So they built them in the factory and they drive them to the property and they put the structure up. But throughout the year, and I'm gonna go forward a little bit.
No,
Um,
it's okay. I mean, we could do 45 to an hour. We could do
okay,
45.
okay. So going forward, 2 months go by, 3 months go by, and I'm constantly looking on the app Built, but I don't see anything. So I will call Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City. His name was Alan Paint. That was the salesman. We had a lady called Lisa Williams, but she left. So I got the devil. I got the devil lapdog, and his name was Robin Pate. But see, again, they come in sheep clothing, so they smell. Hey, how you doing there? Oh, come on in. The hospitality is great until you sign on the dotted line, and then they true colors start coming out. So as time started going on, I would call and say, "Oh, can I speak to Mr. Pate?" Mr. Pate again on the phone. I said, "Oh, Mr. Pate, I'm looking on my app. I don't see anything. I don't see, it's been like 3 or 4 months. I don't see the progress of my house. He took that from me. I wanted pictures. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm telling my family,
In
my
the
friends.
house, bit like, yeah.
I'm telling my family, my friends, and my neighbors, I'm getting my house built from the ground up, and they looking at me like, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, I'm calling Mr. Pate. Mr. Pate, where's the pictures? Now 5 months go by, and I'm getting aggravated because now I'm getting worried because I'm in New York. Why I don't have pictures of my house? You guys are supposed to keep me in the loop of things. I'm not buying a shirt or a pot set. This is a house. A
Yeah.
house. Almost $300,000 house. And now, Larisha, this man is changing up on me. Like I'll call him and he'll be like, Miss Washington, you just called Ted. You gotta wait. Hold up. So now,
Who you talking
so
to?
right. So now I feel myself building up. I always try to be professional in everything I do. However, now you taking me there. So I'm like, excuse me, sir. Who you talking to?
I know
I'm
that's right.
asking you about my house. I have the right to ask you about. You just called here last week. So I said, okay, and I'm gonna call here this week, motherfucker, and I'm gonna call next week.
That's right. Until you tell me what you're doing with my.
Yeah, what's going on?
Like,
Now he's showing his true colors. His true colors is coming out. So now when I call, he won't even come to the phone. He keeping me on hold for 20 and 30 minutes. And I'm all the way in New York. And I'm like, now I'm
mhm.
starting to feel, Lavisha, something is wrong. So I'm like, but what's going on? You know what? So now I can't just keep getting up, flying down south. It's a lot
Right.
of money.
And
And,
you
and,
got
and
10 kids, a full
but
time job, and a life.
working. I'm working. I'm trying to stay above water, And then one of my daughters, she wanted to save some money, so she said, "Mom," she said, my lease is up." And she said, should I sign my another lease because they want me to stay? I said, no, because if you sign that lease, then you're gonna have to pay them for the rest of the year when you leave. So I tell you what, just surrender the apartment. Come on over here, honey. We make some space. You know what I'm saying? Put your stuff in storage. So we was making adjustments. And she was like, that's good, mommy, because we supposed to be moving in 4 or 5 months. She said, and I could save this money. So when I
Right.
get down there, I could buy me a hoop thing. We making plans. Larisha, additional to that, every time throughout the year, every time Barb's, because I'm happy and I got a lot of kids and I'm getting a bigger house. So every time Bob's have a big sale, election day, presidential day, I go and I buy a bedroom set. I go and buy a table. I go and buy a dresser because I'm on a fixed income. So I got to do what I got to do. And mind you, I'm taking all of this furniture and I'm picking it up in the box and I'm putting it in storage because I don't have money to buy furniture at one shot.
Mhm.
So I'm buying furniture throughout the year. I'm buying the girls' canopy beds, and so when we move in our brand new house, we have our brand new
Everything be
furniture.
furnished. Right.
So I'm buying pillows and blankets and quilts and pot sets, and I want new stuff for my beautiful new house. I'm getting
Man,
ready,
your
and
plan.
mind you, I'm putting stuff in storage. I'm putting stuff in storage. So now we're gonna get to um the day
How did it
that
all come to a head?
right. So it's 9 months. And I called them, and again, ground haven't even been broke on my property. Ground haven't even been broke, and we're 9 months in. So I'm calling them, and we waiting on the permit. So now the relationship. But I went 9 months. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm trying to still work with these people. I'm fucking drinking vinegar and sucking salt because my whole family, we ready, we eager, and I'm trying to figure out, am I being too eager? No, I'm not being too eager, and I know I'm not, but okay, I'm trying to work it out. I said, but you said within 8 or 9 months we'll be moving in the house. How is it? And you didn't even break ground. What's going on? I need to show me some pictures of my house. Okay, so moving forward, a year comes. Now, once the year come, I'm defeated. My shoulders are slumped over because I supposed to have been in my house within 8 months. I done already started telling people I'm getting ready to retire. I'm getting ready to put my papers in. I'm
You
getting
getting
ready
your
to
affairs in order because you got to give a 2 weeks notice for your job. You got to
what?
plan for your pension. You got the apartment and your lease.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm doing all of this stuff, and so now I can't deal with it no more. You know, I can't. It's been 1 year. I signed my contract October, let's say October the 9th. I don't remember the exact date, but it was October in 2021. Now we in October of 2022. That's it. I'm done. So and something said do it properly. Email them. First I call, they don't want to talk to me, and then I leave a message, I records the message. Then I emailed them and I told them the relationship with us is not good. I'm done. I had it. It's been a year. Y'all strung me along. I'm done. I want my down payment back. I'm done. I'm moving on to another company. Larisha, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I have my emails. I have my proof, everything. 2 weeks after I sent this email to this company, the app that I've been looking at all year that never went off, the app goes off on my phone. I get a message on the top of my phone that there is transaction on my property. I open up the app. A half a house is sitting on my property, but I can't see the house because the way the satellite took the pictures. The top of the house is open, and I can't see the house. So I'm looking because I had a appointment with Clayton Homes. Go look at some of their homes so they can start. So I was going down there anyway, but I'm like, what the fuck? This can't be Clayton Homes because I got the app from Down East Homes of Elizabeth City.
Right.
I called Down East Homes. They won't come to the phone. Nobody won't come to the phone. So I said, you know what? Let me fly down there. I take a few days off of work. I fly down, rent a car, drives to my land. I thought I was in the wrong spot. I delete I shut the GPS off, turn it back on, go around the block. I'm driving in circles, and they keep bringing me back to. I said, now I know I wasn't down here in a long time, but this can't possibly be my land because I'm looking up. It's a big blue trailer sitting in the back of my property. All the way in the back of my property, like it was hiding. And I'm saying to myself, Larisha, I got knots in my stomach. My hands is shaking. I gotta use the bathroom because I'm the type of person when I get nervous, I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta use the bathroom, but my mind is telling my body, calm down. I can hear my heart beating in my ears.
Yes, I know it.
Literally. And I'm saying, and I feel like I'm about to have an anxiety attack. And I'm looking up at this big blue trailer on my property. And I say, this can't be. So I walks over to the trailer all the way in the back of my land, not where the house was supposed to have been. We already put the marks where I wanted my house, but they put it all the way in the back, trying to hide it. So I walks up to this big, and I said, well, maybe they put this trailer here because this is what they're going to stay in to build the house. I'm trying to psych myself out because this can't be true.
To justify, like, what
Right.
is it?
Right. And then I goes up and I looks up and the house is not together. It's still open. It's not the house nowhere near. It's a blue trailer on bricks with a roof. Or it look like they're trying to do a roof. I looked inside the house. It's a 3-bedroom house where they try to fix it. Now, this is the kicker. There's no steps. So I had to drive my car up on the property as close to the house as I could get and step on top of my car and look in the house. And I'm looking in the house and tears is rolling down. My hands are shaking. It's nothing like the house I ordered. Larisha, it's chandeliers. It's carpet on the floor. Yes, they got plastic covering the carpet. Chandeliers in the ceiling. A big refrigerator. Microwaves. Dishwashers. And everything is taped with blue tape. The Holy Spirit said, take pictures. I goes to my phone and I got the pictures. I'm snapping pictures. There's no steps. How the fuck all that stuff get in this house with no steps? You know what that means? They brought it there like that. This is not a brand new house. This is a sample house because on Down East Homes of Elizabeth City lot, I kept saying, I seen this house somewhere. You know, they got a whole bunch of sample houses. And when you go in it, first of all, I didn't even order carpet. What is carpet doing all over my floor? I got 2 kids with asthma. I would have never ordered carpet.
Right.
Never. So, and I'm saying to myself, I see this house. I feel like I'm in a deja vu. So on Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City lot, when you go and look into the to the sample houses, they like stage them so you can get an idea of what they got.
What
So
how you
they
want your house?
right, so they got refrigerators. Some of them even got furniture and stuff. Everything in here is taped up. There's no steps. They bought it like that, taped up. So I took all the pictures. Then I goes to Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City. Mr. Pate, first I'm calling, they won't answer, or they're putting me on hold and he won't come to the phone. But he don't know I'm on my way.
I
I
know that's
go. I'm on my way. I go to the company. I walks in. Mr. Pate is sitting right there in the office. He sees me, sits up, and I walks in. I said, "Why the fuck did you put this house on my land?
I know
What
that's
did
right.
you do? Move that shit off my land. I'm done." He looks at me and
You
goes, "No,
already told them the contract was over.
right? What? Why? That's what I said. Why did you do it?" He goes, "No, no, 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 no. It's a nice house. What more do you want?" I said, Larisha, I just saw.
So I want to calm this down. I want to calm this down. So
Yes,
you say for 8 years,
yes,
you and your family sacrifice holidays, birthdays, and everything else. You
yes,
save up enough money to be able to buy land, cash money.
yes,
Also, you get the approval for a mortgage.
yes,
You decide to enter into a contract with a company,
yes,
and that company decided to say "F you" and what you want, and we're
yes,
going to do whatever we want to do. We're not going to do any of the things you asked you to do for a year. And then when you say that the contract, you no longer want to do business, when you sever the business relationship with this corrupt business entity, they decide to put one of the sample houses from their lot on your land and
yes.
tell you what do you want or what you
Basically,
going to do about it.
basically, that man looked me in my face, and then he went on to say, "How did I know that the house was placed on my land?" And I looked at him. I said, "Don't worry about how I know. Move it." But then something said, "Put it in writing." So I'm standing right there. I went to my email and I emailed to him. Move. I've noticed that the home was on my property. This is the wrong home. Blah blah blah. Move it. I want it moved. Right. He told me, well, it was an honest mistake, but it's a nice house. What more do you want? So basically, those homes on their lot be depreciating. So I guess once I stepped in, he found a victim. So I guess he felt just give her what, just give her something, and we're gonna make her buy it. So they went and moved the house. So I went to the sheriff department. Now, mind you, I'm new down there, so I don't know that they all family, friends, and neighbors. I don't have a clue that they all. Let me tell you something. When I tell you they took off the white sheets and they put on the suits, ties, and robes, I promise you, I don't know. I'm in a sundown town. I hear about stuff like this. I see stuff like this on TV. I hear people talking about it, but I'm not from the south. I'm from up north, and I was also told they don't do things like that down there. That how we do it up north. Yes, I was. I felt like I stepped into my ancestors' shoes.
Nightmares. Yeah.
And I said, wait a minute. This can't, I don't get
Not
me
in
wrong.
2022, not in
Right,
2021, not in 2020.
right.
Like,
That's how I was. I was like, am I in a movie? Am
am I being punked? Like,
I like I'm looking at like this gotta be a movie because I know it happened, but no, this is not happening today. With me.
and
Let me
you're
tell you
not from
something.
Brooklyn. You're going to tell me that I got to take a house that I didn't even pay for, get into a contract with, and you're going to tell me that I got to, with my hard earned money and I've been sacrificing for 8 years with 10 kids? Now,
Basically, that's what I was told. It ain't what you want, and you better be glad you got something. You gonna take what I give you, or else. Basically, and I'm looking at this man, and my mom was going someplace that it shouldn't have went, but then I had to say to myself, back up. I had to literally back up out of there because for the simple fact is that's what he wanted me to do.
you was going to catch a case, basically.
Right. He wanted me to step outside myself so
Because he
he
had
could.
all the friends in the law enforcement, so then they can continue to do whatever they were doing.
There you go. And then I be in a fucked up situation, and then I
Yeah,
be forced to accept what they gave me. But that's what's
exactly.
going to
You
happen.
wouldn't even be able to fight, and they could really take your land and your house, and then you would be screwed.
And I be sitting up in jail trying to fight a criminal case. So I
Yeah,
said, I thought about my kids, I thought about my job, I thought about my life, and I backed up out of there. And I did one even worse. I went to the sheriff department. And I try to put in a complaint. And the sheriff department, they all know each other. I don't know this yet, though. He tells me it's not a crime, and he's not taking
the police
report.
report. Mhm.
And down there, it's
And
called the sheriff department.
but remember how they always claim that black people need law enforcement and we need it more than anybody else. But every time a black person go to file a complaint because a crime has been committed against them,
They
the
won't take
response is there's nothing that we can do. Now
what,
let you put something on somebody else's land and see how quick and fast they try to charge you to
not
give
only
them.
would they charge me, they would have threw me on the floor. They would have whooped my ass. They would have tased me. They would have took my kids from me. I would have lost my job. I would have lost my pension, and I would have still been sitting in jail trying to be the case. Okay, so with this being said, I keep trying to explain to people the Constitution wasn't written for us. It was written for them to protect us because they didn't know how to treat us.
No,
Okay,
but
just
it
the
was
simple
written for
premise.
them to target us. And they use it to continually to target us. And they'll
And
use their law and they'll tell you that you have to be law obedient while they're breaking the law.
all the time. All the time. And when you speak on it and when you talk about it, they're gonna ban your page. They're gonna battle shadow ban you. They're gonna stop you from going viral. They're gonna make sure you're not heard. You know, they're gonna do all of these things to try to they're gonna tell you to get a
Silence.
lawyer. Right. Knowing that you can't afford a lawyer. They're gonna tell you
Not
to
even
go
that,
with
even they can't afford the lawyer. Having a lawyer that's willing to fight for you because the lawyer and them are friends. And
and
the
that's
lawyer knows that the law is against us. So they really don't want to fight on our behalf because they know it's a losing battle.
you better speak on the situation because this is how we get railroaded all the time. So, with that being said, and then I went to, he said, it's a civil litigation. I said, yeah, okay, thank you, sir, for your help. I went to the courts. Again, they are all family, friends, and neighbors. So I went to, at the time, Passatank County Superior Court, because when it's a civil litigation over a certain amount of money, you got to go to Superior Court and not District Court. But I had to learn these things, so I went to Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City is located in Elizabeth City, so I had to go to Elizabeth City. I went to the courthouse. I was told, oh, you could be tied up in litigation for the next 6 7 years. I said, I don't care.
To try
What
to
what
persuade you not to do anything.
Right. I said, I don't care. What am I supposed to do? They said, oh, well, you can put in a substantive complaint for breach of contract. I said, thank you very much. I had to come back home. So I left North Carolina and I came back home. And I had to do my research and figure out what am I supposed to do to about them putting this property, this their property, their garbage on my property. So fast forward, I'm putting in summons and complaints. I'm trying to find a lawyer. I couldn't find a lawyer. A lot of lawyers don't do land. A lot of civil lawyers in North Carolina, they do stuff like divorces. They don't do realty and land. So I couldn't find a attorney. The two attorneys that did handle stuff something like that was telling me it was a conflict of interest. Because why? They are
Work.
all
Yeah.
family, friends, and neighbors in them small little Hicks towns. Okay, I thought it was a beautiful place, but I learned the hard way. So to make a long story short, Lavisha, I went pro se. When you go pro se litigate, I'm telling you, it's like they supposed to hold you less into your standards because you're
Because
not
they
in the
don't
court
know.
like you pro. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay.
So what they is
They
they
don't they know that you don't have the legal educate.
right. They supposed to give you a little bit,
Exactly. They give you a little leeway with the court filings because you don't have the training or the education like an
right.
attorney.
I'm not an attorney, but they pro se bias.
Of
Why?
course.
Because they all family, friends, and neighbors down there. So they all work together. And of course, I don't know, but I know in civil litigations, again, there's time frames for everything. And I just want to reiterate something. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're clerk." Listen, there is a difference. So
If you don't do civil, criminal and civil is two different things. And civil is a person against a person, criminal is the state against the people. or the people versus the criminal. So it's not the same thing. Because even with me having a criminal justice degree and me having one civil law class, me filing my lawsuit pro se, I didn't know what I was doing. And the reason why they're so stringent with the laws, you have 90 days to file. Like I had 90 days to file my lawsuit. You have to answer in 30 days. You have to do this in 5 days. You have to do this in 10 days. And if you don't follow those strict, stringent rules,
Correct.
dismiss, the case is over with. So I know.
Yeah,
But
so
go
they
ahead.
want
So after you left there, you
so
went and they told you to file a civil
right,
complaint.
right. They told me so I put my summons and complaint in, and then I had to go back down there to court. So when I went back down there to court, Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City attorney got my summons and complaint dismissed because he said I didn't bring the lawsuit in the right name. Come to find out, there is
You
no
didn't bring
such
the lawsuit in what?
in the right name.
In the right name.
And I'm about to tell you what they're talking about. So I signed a contract with Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City. There is no such thing as Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City, but I didn't find that out until later. There is Downey's Homes of Belvedere. So Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City, they never register it. How about that? So and they never registered Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City. So they changed the name to in the lawsuit. And I said to them, now I found out that that was illegal. Then I didn't know because I wasn't
Downey's home of Elizabeth City didn't exist.
because they never register it. The company is called Downey's Homes of Belvedere. It's owned by a man named Jeff Jones. So he got other modular companies all over North Carolina, like Downey's Homes of Greenwich and Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City, which is the company that I went to purchase my home. They don't even exist. They was never registered. So when they came to court, they said that I'm not suing the right company. Because Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City don't exist. They never register it. But I did not know, just like I couldn't sue them, they couldn't sue me because I didn't sign a contract with Downey's Homes of Belvedere. I didn't even know that exists. On my contract, I posted it. It says Downey's Homes of Elizabeth City. So they couldn't sue me neither. However, so they dismissed my summons and complaint without prejudice and told me to do it right and come back. However, while we in that, they split the case. Downey's Homes of Elizabeth attorney ran over to Chowan County where he has favor, and he put a lien on my property.
They put a lien on your property, and he put the lien on your property based on what though?
Said he did work for me and I didn't pay him. They called the wrong house work. So what happened was I went over to Chowan County and I challenged the lien. I responded. Well, lo and behold, I responded with a 26-page affidavit with all my proof that this is not the house, this is my contract. They put the wrong house, the emails, 26 pages. Okay. Now this is where a whole nother entity, corruption, fraud upon the court. It was bad. Well, I get a letter that I got caught in Passatank County on Columbus Day.
So she gets a letter from another county. Now, the county she was in, they said that you can't try the case here because that's not the name of the case. The attorney goes to another county where he has friends in favor and file a lawsuit against her saying they put a lien on the property because she didn't pay for a property that she didn't order and that she didn't want. And they give her court for this hearing on a federal holiday in another county. And again, she's from New York. So she would have to figure out X, Y, and Z. But what they didn't know was she worked for the courts for 20 something years. And her specialty is knowing how the court procedures and how you got to respond. And you got to show up, even if it is a holiday. Continue.
So, and I'm almost 100% sure they was anticipating me not showing up. However, just like what you said, I'm not a civil clerk, but I know that anytime you get summons to court, you have to go. So I fly down once again. I go to this whole nother county. They open up the courthouse just for me. And the purpose of that, I'm finding out now, they don't want nobody to say they do to you. So I goes in the courtroom. the attorney is chopping it up. And I'm like, oh, what's going on in here? But there's no law against the attorney and the judges not knowing each other. There's no law against that. I go in there, I sit down, this is what I hear. Granted. Boom. I'm sitting there like a sitting duck. I don't know what's going on. I never was heard. I never said a word. All I know is I heard blah, 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 blah. Granted. And I look up and I said, well, what the hell just happened? The attorney walks over to me and he tells me to put my money where my mouth is because his client is ultimately going to get paid.
And what is his
And
name?
his name is John P. Marshall. Walks up to me and tells me to put my money where my mouth is because his client is ultimately going to get paid. And that basically for me to sign, because remember, I got approved for Intercoastal Bank. After a while, it runs out, and then you got to reapply all over.
For the money.
He basically telling me to sign the check because I stopped the check. He basically telling me to sign the check. I told him.
How much money did you give them?
I gave them all together $60,000.
$60,000. Okay. So they put a lien on your house and they're saying they want how much more?
They said they put a lien on my house to sell take my land from me. They wanted to take the land. Why you think? Because the house
owed the debt. They said they took the lien because you owed the debt. So how much was the debt? Oh, they didn't even say how much the debt was.
No. They took the land because the house was on the land and I told them to move it. They didn't want to move the house because they said if they moved the house, it would destroy it. And I told them, I don't give a shit. You shouldn't have put it on my property. Move it. So what they did was they worked together to steal my land because they didn't want to move the house. So it's not so much about my land. It's the house because they don't want to lose the house. So this is what happened.
I don't think it's that they don't want to lose the house. I think it's the fact that they want your land. Because just like they brought it there, they can move it.
That too, because I want to both ways. Because think about it. Why did you drop that property that house on my property, a 3-bedroom house, something that I can't use? It's like they knew I wasn't going to accept it. Why? It's like
they didn't want you to accept it because they didn't do anything in the original contract. You had them for a year, and for that year you gave them $60,000, and they did absolutely nothing. So basically, what they wanted to do was they wanted you to put that house, but they also wanted to deplete your funds of the other $120,000 that you was approved of.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't allow. They actually tried to do a draw and take the money out, but I stopped it. Because they slick. Because I tried to work with them. Larisha, I skipped over a few things, but I wound up signing 2 other contracts with this company because they promised me that they was going to make the house bigger and better, but they didn't lift a finger, and they didn't have to. I'm going to tell you why. Because down these homes of Elizabeth City didn't exist, and they knew I wasn't going to be able to sue them. They just did that to string me along and get that money. They knew they wasn't going to lift a finger. So moving forward, and I stayed in North Carolina overnight because I couldn't understand how did I go into default. How? I'm going over the paperwork. I look at the complaint that the attorney writes. He writes, I didn't file an answer.
So it was basically a default because you didn't. Again, you got so many days, and if you don't file an answer, so many days, they went automatically.
But I'm sitting there, and when I see she didn't file an answer, I'm like, what the? I did file an answer. I filed a 26-page answer. The clerk removed my answer out of my folder.
Corruption of the court.
And this is how there you go. This is how it all begins with the see, this is all collusion. This is collusion.
And this is the key to this example. Put it like a pin in this. This is very, very important because a lot of times people don't understand how things happen or how you get a default. There are only certain ways you can rule against another party. If the party don't answer and they say, like if we're filing a divorce and I say I don't want to be married to you and you don't go to the court and say, well, judge, we only been married for I want to fight for my marriage or whatever, the judge is going to rule against you because you didn't answer to it. Or if you do answer and say I want a divorce, but I also want X, Y, and Z. If you don't do that, you lose just for not doing that. This is a person who worked for the court. Constance Washington worked for the court for 20-something years. She not only did what she was supposed to do, she filed a 26-page answer. The workers in the court, the clerks of the court refused to accept the fact that that was her answer and lied and said, committed fraud,
Brought upon
and
the court.
said she did not do something that she did. And when she went to the court to file the answer, she made sure that it was stamped and she has her copy of the stamp,
So I do.
which is
I
what
still
they
do.
weren't banking on.
That's right. They was not banking
And
on it. And it's RICO. You know what I'm saying? This is all organized federal crimes, and this is something that happens all the time. And I'm more than sure I'm not the first one. They done did this too. It's the fraud upon the court is so real. And I said, wait. When I was reading it, I said, wait, do this say I didn't file an answer? So I stayed in North Carolina, and I go to the courthouse. The next day, she looks up at me, the same Wendy Turner, it's the same deputy chief clerk that foul stamped my answer, is the
oh,
same deputy chief clerk that didn't see my answer. She's the same deputy chief clerk that put me into default. She's the same deputy chief clerk that gave me the appointment over at the other court. So let me explain something to you guys. The clerk's job is the record for the judge. They are the administrator for the judge. So if they put you, a lot of people think the judge puts you in default. The judge don't put you in default. The clerk put you in the default. The judge is the law. He just grants it. So therefore, when I go into default, he don't know I didn't file an answer. However, he was down with it and he was corrupt too, because I had him under investigation because I was sitting right there and I told him I filed an answer, but he chose to ignore me. And let me explain something to you. Why would somebody put you in default and take your land away from you if they not down with it? Who would want to do something so drastic? If anything, you want to make sure that this person didn't file an answer. And let me tell you something. If I didn't file an answer, which I did, I was sitting right the fuck there. I was the answer.
I know that.
I'm sitting right here. I'm the
I
answer.
know that's right. I know that's right.
What are you talking about? I didn't file an answer. I'm
They
sitting right
didn't
in the
think,
court.
they thought that they were going to pull one over on you.
Yeah,
They thought that they would continue with their corruption of the court and how they treat people, and that you was just one of those regular N words and you was just going to shut up and take it. And they didn't know who they
there
was
you go.
dealing with. And
They
a
thought
lot
they
of
were
times
going
I
to
tell
run me
people
to the river in the middle of the
exactly, and they're so used to treating freedmen, because
yeah,
this was done to you specifically because you were a freedman, and they know that they have the courts help with violating your rights. And what you gonna do about it? You are a black woman. Where you gonna go?
right,
Who gonna
exactly.
protect you?
That's
Who gonna
right.
protect you? You gonna
I
go to their courts, their judges, their friends?
exactly, and that's the
They
thing.
thought, and the fight is you saying something about it. Every time you tell your story, every time you say, this is what they did to me and this is how I answered it, you win, because
Right.
they can't shut you up. And the things that they think that they are doing to you, they're hurting themselves, because sooner or later, they're going to have to answer to what they did. And
Absolutely.
again, you have 14,000 followers. I've been on TikTok way longer than you. I've
And
been at this way longer than you,
you
and
see
you
how
have
quick they
14,000.
see how quick they banned that because the word was getting out. It was getting out.
You were doing interviews, radio interviews, and all kinds of stuff. And I
That's why
commend you for
I'm
that.
gonna start again. I'm gonna
No,
start again.
and you supposed to. And you supposed to.
Listen,
Because the
we
fact
pull
that they
ourselves up by
continue
our
to,
bootstrings. Let me tell you something, Queen. We pull ourselves up by our bootstrings because we have no other choice.
even when they take our boots, even when they take our boots. Now you have a black woman, a single black woman with 10 kids, who save up enough money to buy land, to go and but who does she think she is? She know who she is. That's exactly why she holding you accountable to your corruption and corruption. And I don't think people understand. People always look at it like, again, I worked for the court for 9 years. I was a probation officer. You
But
were a clerk for courts. When you give your life and you take the oath, we take it seriously. We do it to help people. We do it to try to help people in the certain circumstances, because in criminal court, things happen, mistakes happen. You could have found yourself in a situation. I'm not going to be there to judge you, but I'm going to try to help you get through this the best way you can. But the court system is not there to help. The
nope,
court system is not there to rehabilitate. The court system is simply there to target and go after black people,
absolutely, absolutely.
specifically freedmen, just because they can.
Yeah,
Because with your case, it's ridiculous. With
see,
your
let me
case,
explain
it's
this to you.
ridiculous.
When I tell you that about the meetings. I always say, them in chambers, behind the wall meetings. When they be having them in chamber meeting, guess what? Somebody's gonna get their mortgage paid. See, you got to remember, this man Jeff Jones, he owns 8 sites. Okay, so he has money. He's a white man with money. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, who do you think put those elected judges up there? Who do you think sponsored them and give them votes? The reason why those companies do that, so when they do dirt,
When he
those
calls on them, they'll
ruling
be there to have his back. And in every state is different. In the state of New Jersey, as a judge, you're appointed by the governor, but the governor is still elected and the money goes to his election. In this town, the judges are elected as well,
That's right.
but the business is basically by the judges.
There
So
you go.
you buy your judges and you take care of your judges and your judges take care of you. So I wonder if you looked at the campaign contributions to these judges and
I
see
did.
who
I
you
did.
did.
I did. But again, they are corrupt. The
Oh,
judicial system is so corrupt. The rabbit holes run so deep. And the sad thing about it is, Larisha, again, if you don't have eyes on your story, if nobody's listening, if nobody's watching, the government won't help. They look the other way. Because let me tell you something. I wrote the Attorney General's office and I sent them a copy of my answer. They told me to get an attorney. Now, you and I both know, Lavisha, the Attorney General office, they are supposed to protect us from this
if
type of behavior.
if the attorney general files lawsuits on your behalf if a company is violating, the state of New Jersey filed a lawsuit against Verizon because how they were treating their companies because
Exactly.
they just were sitting there doing different That's what the attorney general was for. So for the
Exactly.
attorney general to tell you to get an attorney when you have a business that's violating your rights, that just goes to show how the deep the corruption is. And in the southern states, it's different than it is in the northern states, but the corruption is still corruption.
Right. And Josh Stein, he's on the ballot for November, but we're gonna see about this. That's a whole nother thing that I'm getting ready to get into. But I wrote the Attorney General's office and I told him, I wrote Roy Cooper, the governor.
And who's Roy Cooper?
Roy Cooper is the governor. This is for North Carolina. Okay.
The
I
governor.
wrote, what is his name? Mark Robinson. He's the lieutenant governor. Okay, I wrote them all, and I sent them copies of my answer. They contacted just one of them. I don't know who contacted Chowan County Clerk's office, all but something. They found my answer.
I
My 26-page answer jumped back in my folder. They told me to put in a motion to overturn the default judgment. Why do I got to put that in? Your
put in
clerk?
your mo-
That was your
Exactly.
clerk's fault, not mine, but they said it had to be called on the record. So I put in the motion to set aside the default judgment. Guess what? They sent me to Current County. Guess who's sitting there? The same judge.
And this is the fourth county.
Right.
And the same judge is in the fourth county. So he basically traveling with his corruption.
The man, and they make sure I stayed on his calendar. Guess what he did? He denied it. Nobody don't understand. He denied it. Additional to that, he denied it. No explanation. He denied it. Now he goes under investigation because I didn't stop there. I wrote the commissioner, and I'm like, I filed the answer. The judge denied it. He goes on June the 9th. He goes under investigation. I asked them what's going on. They're gonna tell me his disciplinary action is confidential. If you look on my page, I posted everything. They're gonna tell me it's confidential. So I said, well, who's gonna overturn this default judgment? They told me I can appeal it. I gotta appeal it.
You got to keep following. Again, you got to follow the rules. You got to follow the law, but none of
But
them
they
got to follow
don't.
the law.
But they don't.
This is the thing, and this is what taught me, especially what my job taught me. This is what taught me. This is why I filed my lawsuit against them. This is why I wrote a book. Now, a lot of times they tell you don't write a book while the case is pending because, you can't say anything. They're going to use it. No, they don't follow the law. So I'll be damned if I sit here and you got a confidentiality. I ain't got no confidentiality. Ain't no confidentiality for me to be quiet about crimes that's committed, especially crimes committed against me. There is no confidentiality.
And you say what
But
you want to say.
Exactly. But the thing is, the fact that they were so bold in doing it, what I want to do is I wanted to break this down into two parts. This
Yes,
is going to be
okay,
the both parts because it's going on an hour, and then we'll do another interview about the
absolutely.
second part. But I just wanted to be clear where we are now.
Yes,
You bought land, you had a contract with a company to give you a certain type of house. They violated that contract. The company didn't even have the name that they were in. So you were doing business with a doing business as Lord knows what else. What kind of IRS crimes being committed? You That's what you should call. You should call the
I did.
IRS.
I did, and I wrote a
Um,
letter. And guess what, girl? I did. And guess what? And if they don't reply, I got 10 copies, and they gonna get a copy every week.
I know this because they don't. You know the IRS don't play around with their money. The IRS and the S they don't play.
I
I
did,
don't mess with.
because that's why Downey's Homes did that, because it's a tax thing, and you know
Yeah,
they save the money.
come on.
But guess what? I already told them they sold me a house for that kind of money, and they didn't register their company, and it's fraud, and I'm not playing. And guess what? They listen. They gonna know they've been in a fight with Constance, and
And that's the thing.
I just called for her oath for office, $250,000. Because let me tell you something, that's treason.
That's what I said about the crimes committed against me. These laws, these rules that they breaking against us is treason, and treason is punishable by death.
That's
I'm glad I'm not the only one that say that.
that's
But when
treason.
you
It's
are
treason.
violating the Constitution by discriminating, harassing, retaliating, or committing money law and in the performance of your duty,
That's
that's
right. They
official
don't have immunity.
misconduct.
When you do fraud, you don't have them. You're not covered. You don't have immunity. And let me tell you
Exactly.
something. A violation of an oath for office is $250,000. And if she thinks she's gonna walk away now over something, she disappears. She not in the clerk's office. But I don't give a shit. I want your pension.
Listen to me. And the thing is, if you look at RICO with the crimes for public corruption, is official misconduct,
Yeah.
fraud. You cannot lie in paperwork. She cannot, in the performance of her duty, say she did not receive something she received, and the judge is making a decision based on her lies. And the fact that the court, the fact that the court was willing to do it, and they only did it because, again, I'm not saying that white people don't have to go through stuff like this, but they
We
do it
gotta
to
go
black
through it
people
more.
because they don't think that we're going to fight.
Right.
They don't think that we're going to stand up for our rights. Like we can't read A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Right, right. And let me tell you something. I'm fighting because I gotta fight. Because let me tell you something. I don't have another 8 or 10 years to be saving up for no money. And then in
That's right.
addition to that, God forbid if I lay down today or tomorrow and close my eyes, I want to make sure my kids got calm and well. I want to make sure my kids got a roof over their head. Because let me tell you something. I fight and I move the way I move because I know I'm the one that got to make this happen. You know,
And this
nobody.
is the
I
thing.
don't have family members or no or friends or nobody that could take care of 10 fucking kids.
This is the thing. When they talk about generational wealth, when they talk about passing something down to your kids, when they talk about putting yourself in a situation and you want to do this for your family, and then as a black woman, you do that, and
Right.
then they try to strip everything away from you. It's just like, and then when they do their interviews and say black people are not together or black people don't do this, black people have their stuff together. When you have the entire judicial branch of government's sole job, sole purpose is to target black people. That's why we get the sentences we get regarding crimes where it'd be a white
You
person
better
committed the
believe it.
same crime. That's why we have mass incarceration. That
You
is
better
why
believe it.
you see black people are pulled over more than any other race. That is why black people on probation and parole, black people in law enforcement who report their treatment gets fired and lose their pensions and are targeted. It's specifically done to us because we are freedmen black American. And
And they
they
try to act
use
like it
this
don't exist. They
and they
try to
use
act
this
like it don't
entire
exist.
system, but they use
Right.
the entire judicial branch of government. That entire system goes after and targets black people. The prosecutor who refused to prosecute cases that we bring their attention to. We can't
Absolutely.
even get a prosecutor to say a crime was that we are being murdered or we are being unalived. When
Yeah.
we're literally being unalived on camera, the prosecutors are still not charging.
And they still talking about doing investigating. What is it to investigate? And let me tell you something, Alicia. If we don't fight back, if we don't stand up and fight back, nothing is gonna happen. And again, for example, if my story, your story, our story, it's so many stories. If we don't go viral, they won't help us. I noticed
And
that.
this, you
They
know,
won't.
you see what I'm. A black woman I filed a lawsuit against an entire branch of government with no attorney.
Right.
Then I got fired for that lawsuit.
Yeah.
The court literally issued a court order against an employee and locked up my mentally ill nephew
Yeah.
because of my lawsuit. I contacted the newspaper. The FBI asked me why was I calling them.
Yeah.
They don't want you to talk about what they did. They want you to be silent about your
Yeah.
trauma. They want you, and
Absolutely.
that's why I see when you go on TikTok and you do videos and you give me so much hope. I'm so mentally that I can't even talk about it. That's why I said let me interview other people, because me having to talk and re-say how they hurt and harmed him, and then with my nephew being released and me
Right.
seeing the trauma that he's going through and everything he has to deal with,
Right.
maybe it's not
Well,
for the
Larissa, don't get it twisted, because I definitely got PTSD for legal abuse. I'm telling
girl.
you. I'm today. I'm okay today. Because I have to be. But let me tell you something. Some mornings I get up, girl, and I'm literally aching from the head to the toe. I'm outside of myself. I have to pray, and I gotta ask God to help me accept the things that I can't change, because I have to be okay. But there is days where I'm not okay. Still I don't sleep. I lost over
I
50,
know.
60 pounds. All my hair fell out. You don't have a clue. But guess what?
No,
God got a plan. I'm
because you
okay
are
because
a
I have
fighter,
to.
baby.
Yeah, I have to.
Listen, you are a fighter. We're gonna do the next interview. We're gonna schedule it soon. But
Okay.
the way you fight. When I tell you, you give me hope. When I want to crawl into a little ball.
Yeah.
You are a fighter, and we need more of you. And a lot of times
We
when
need
it's
some
happening, people don't
people
want to
each
fight,
other.
and that's how they win. They
Yeah.
win when you don't fight. When they screw you over, when they violate your right, when they break their law, their rules, when they take your land and they look like they give each other five, like, oh, I got her, oh, I got her. When they
All they
know it's
do is
somebody you
steal.
can't
All they
listen,
do, let me tell you something.
you
All these
fucked
people
around and
do
found
is
out.
steal. That's all they do is steal. And they need us. They can't survive without us. Because if,
No.
if it wasn't for us, who would they steal from?
The entire judicial branch of government targets black people. That is literally the purpose of this entire branch of government, to go after and target. The serve and protect philosophy that they say is untrue, because we can't get served or protect. The service that we have and the protection that we don't receive, who is serving and protecting us? How is somebody committing a fraud against you and you can't even get somebody to investigate a fraud? When they're going after black people
That's not my proof.
they're going after black people for falsifying applications to get the kid in the school district so the kid can get a better education.
Right.
They go after black people for filling out applications for free lunch if they lie and use one income. Like, they go after black people for everything, but they
That's right.
don't go after them or themselves.
That's right.
So I just want, is there anything you want to say? I want you to put your Cash App up. We're going to do another one. This is part one. We're going to do part two. We're going to do it soon. But I want you to put your Cash App up if you need donations, if you need help, because I know you found an attorney, you're fighting. We're going to get in the next one. But if you want anybody to reach you, how do they contact you, follow you?
Right.
Um,
So, Lavisha, I know you're going to air this. I'm going to give you all the information. Once again, my name is Constance Washington. Please follow me on TikTok. It's Constance.Washington, WASHING3. I am going to put I'm going to do all of that, y'all. I need whatever help I can get. I'm asking for even emotional help. Just sharing my story and helping me get my story out is helping me. And I just want to thank everybody from support me. Thank you, Larisha, for having me, because I need the support. And sometimes I need the encouragement, because believe me, it ain't easy.
Girl, listen, I love you, and
We
you
gonna
make it
keep
you make it look.
going.
I'm proud of you. I'm so proud. When I saw your story, and you had like 100 something followers, and I was like, oh my God, we got to get her help. We got to get her help. Baby had 14,000 followers. You welcome. You welcome. You
All
welcome.
right.
Hold on. Hold on.
I just want to thank everybody for listening, because although you might think I sit up here and diss and everything like that, I'm just a positive person trying to do a positive thing, trying to have a little bit of fun and make my mark in the world.